and the opportunity lost has to do with having the ability, with the information and the data already in place, to get rid and not have a voice, a person talking and speaking to 1,000, 100 million people from what they know, from what they've learned, from what they feel. The mystery has to do with all of the obviousness with what's trying to be organized. Legal drugs, booze, sex, and strip clubs and prostitution. All the stuff a body feels, all of the information a brain receives to make dopamine, to make adrenaline, to get the testosterone pumping with some titties and some dick, some flesh and some breasts and some liquor. And some trippiness to add some novelty to the repetitiveness from the stimulus. A world without a stimulus a world, a country, the United States of America, with everybody who's willing to know about a stimulus and to recognize the behavior from the stimulus, aren't done with suffering. They're not done with all the horribleness from life. They're in many ways similar to AA or some other chemical dependency program where they teach you about the self, restriction, limits, denial, and suffocation of the stupidness involved in the decision making to have some fentanyl instead of toast in the morning. The benefit from these words being more easily accepted has to do with consciousness. And when the consciousness gets brighter, more brilliant, more filled with light and color and less distracting noises and sounds and femininity in the voice and masculinity in the spit on the ground, and their breath in the air, sharing the then putting the fentanyl aside and eating the toast are only the beginning. To eggs and sweet potatoes and farm fresh vegetables and summer raspberries and blueberries and cobblers and once in a while a fruity cocktail with some juice and gin. A marijuana joint with a table full of buffet chow. A kitchen packed with food brought from friends and family for sharing. In these conditions, in this context now, with the stimulus and the behavior secondary to the more important consciousness, makes a person much less likely to walk outside in the world and get scared at a man with a gun or a woman with some pepper spray who look too scary and tough and don't belong where they are. And much more persistent to chase away the bully who drives their beat up, nasty, dirty, old, smoggy vehicle and has long ago decided we're in a video game called Grand Theft Auto. And bitches need stitches and rats need some poison. And the tall horror show, dumb, idiotic, stupid, pathetic watcher who's observing and listening can't keep up with so much excitement and so many wide eyes in their life filled with beer cans, tobacco, and a vodka jug. With no end. The deeper mystery will most likely be replaced. There'll be they call vigilantes. There'll be some tough guys, some brutish women. And then there'll be those kittens, those dogs. And then those parents with those kids, those lovers with their despair, and the engaged couples out for a walk during sunset. And as long as a person says the sunset and don't move the eyes during contact, then there's safe passage home. And when the home doesn't have a building and requires check-in at the shelter, then conditions require more work. And the criteria for not getting assaulted and not getting killed for having a hand that accidentally goes now, for interrupting the artist's dance club, then the mission will be complete. With the objectives satisfied for the activists and the politicians and the thinkers and the genius, brilliant social groups, and the mystery could get eventually solved. And the mystery could get more intense, more complicated, and a lot more confusing. Giving the bad people who want to make money from suffering and poverty to fill their beer cup and their bong full of weed from a week filled with sex and dirty pornography. Then the world will know the change the world wants to see in the world. Om Mani Padme Hum. The end.